sound.
Oh, I didn't even do a sound test.
Did you press the mute button again?
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Wobby Player Syndrome 40k podcast, told to you by these Aussies here. I don't know why I have to stipulate that we're Aussies. I think it's just so people can understand the accent. It's fine.
I kept confusing people in New Zealand.
Yeah? Really? In New Zealand?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, there was at least one person who thought I was from America.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Did you fail your IQ test?
No, they were like, oh, where are you from? It's like, Canberra? They're like, oh, you're Australian.
And they kicked you out. Right. So I just look like I'm a little loud. I forgot to do a sound test. But welcome to the podcast. Professionalism is our name.
That is better.
That is better.
Yeah. Welcome,
You
folks.
dial it down a
Welcome
bit
to the
more.
Professionals. This is episode 73, not episode 1, which it may sound like, but it's episode 73. Welcome to our humble podcast. Episode 73. It is called Battle Shocked and Appalled. That's right. We are going to discuss the morale in the new 40k edition, whether it's good, bad, and different. What we'd like to see, how it works, what factions screwed over with it, what factions love it, and etc. and etc. We love the etc. parts. We go into deeper details there. With us, we have Radio Mike.
Hi.
We have Safe Work Mark.
Hey, everybody.
We've got Adam.
Good evening, good morning, and good day, everyone.
Very formal. That's great. And we've got, of course, Greg here as the loud one, mucking around with the microphone. Live editing. Who doesn't love that? You will be able to watch this podcast, not just here on Twitch, but also through our YouTube page. We are experimenting the multi-streaming. So be excited about it. I know I am. Now I've got 3 screens to watch. I'm awesome. I'm excited. I am awesome, but that's not the point. We should move on. How is everyone?
I'm alive. Yeah, right.
We have had a few delays in bringing the podcast this month, but we are here now, and it's a very important topic, so we should probably get started with the regulars, which is Radio Mike telling us all about the new releases.
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, they finally fucking did the Australian pre-orders for the Dark Angel stuff. So, like, this last weekend, you could order the Codex, Asmodai, the Belial, the Companions, the Knights, the upgrade sprues, the Combat Patrol, the dice and the data cards. How long ago did that come out everywhere else? I didn't even see an announcement that it was delayed. It just didn't fucking come out. And then I just saw, I saw like the local Warhammer store be like, oh, you can buy Dark Angels this week. And I'm like, what? Oh, okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't pay much attention because I saw everyone else playing online with the Dark Angels, so I just assumed they were out.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
Yeah.
I kept being like, have I missed something? Kept checking all the pre-order things. I'm like, it says they're available on the Warhammer community, but they're not.
We do tend to get left out at times when it comes to pre-orders down here in Oz.
Yeah, we got absolutely stealth fucked on that one. And we just recently had the Crude Hunting Pack.
That's now on pre-order?
Went up for pre-order. Yep. Was that the weekend before last?
Last weekend.
2
It
weekends
went up on
ago,
pre-order?
Yeah, a couple of days.
Yeah. So it went up for pre-order before the Dark Angels did. So dumb. We had a big pile of old world made to order, or not made to order.
We got a longer
re-releases
stream tonight,
of Old
so
World
let's
stuff.
not talk about old world stuff. Let's just stay with the 40k stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
So they released the Orcs for Old World, and they released all the Dwarves for Old World.
Well, the
I'm not gonna
dwarves have
go
been
through it all.
announced. Well, we could talk about the Warhammer preview stuff that turned up and was underwhelming. And
So underwhelming, man, I didn't even pay attention to it. I saw like bits of it. I was like, none of that looks super interesting.
well, it's funny. Well, the funny part was that, the huge countdown all week, 3 days to go, 4 hours to go, blah blah. It was pre-recorded. It wasn't even live.
Yeah. I heard that. It's like, what the fuck, guys? Wasn't there just like some chaos stuff?
Yeah, so they have announced the new Chaos Codex and 2 new
and-
Chaos Lord with jetpack and Chaos Lord with not jetpack.
And there's a couple of new models as well, new squads. New
New combat boxes.
Oh,
new.
I saw that there was a new
trolls.
Gene Stealer cultist box.
Yes.
Brood Brothers, even.
Brood Brothers,
cultists.
Yeah. For the death team? Kill team.
Killed, yeah.
And
it looked like they were
the-
re-releasing a combat patrol or something, where they would just put the contents of Overkill with the new Brood Brothers box or something.
I don't know. The Kill Team box for the Gene Stealer cult does have the Broodlord and plus another 10 figures. So that's quite a large unit for a Kill Team box.
That's a Kill Team box.
That's a Kill Team box.
And one of the big dual ones, or just a single Kill
Just
Team?
a single Kill Team with 10 Gene Stealer cultists plus the Broodlord.
Yeah, it's got a Broodlord, plus it's got the Magus and the Familiar, yeah? And the Alpha?
No, these are all Kill Team infantry plus Broodlord. I didn't see anything else
Okay,
like that.
I saw a picture where it had the new dudes with the Broodlord, with the Patriarch, and with the old Magus and all that
No, I
from
didn't
the
see
other
that
boxes.
One. But I did see the Votan.
Okay.
That's also part of that Kill Team
Oh,
box.
yeah.
They looked cool!
So it is like one of those new big Kill Team boxes.
Oh,
not
yeah,
like
yeah,
a
new
little
Kill Team
individual
box,
Kill
yes.
Team.
And
Okay, that's why I was confused. I was like,
You're welcome.
that's a lot of
I'm
stuff
glad
to put
we
in a...
skipped through so we wouldn't spend too much time on this.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. We can't be wasting time. But yeah, that new Votan Kill Team looks really cool. I like that we're getting another unit because we don't have a lot of units. We have one fast attack unit.
Yeah, no, they look
So
good.
hopefully they're fast attack.
All right, cool. So that's the new releases, more like pre-releases and lost pre-releases. So, but yeah, they're there. Joker says there's been a lot of delays across all systems. It's caused issues with their iOS scene as well with the book delays. Well, you're getting a new system anyway. iOS 4th edition was announced on the weekend as well, so that's coming. That cinematic, if you haven't watched it, watch it. It's very cool. For the people who couldn't be bothered watching, Michael.
But I did watch that when it was put up on YouTube or whenever it was, unless
Fair
there was
enough.
a different cinematic.
It would have been a longer one with the.
There was one
City
more
coming
one
out.
more thing that came out. Power Wash Simulator DLC for 40k.
Yes, saw that. Was tempted to steal my son's Power Wash Simulator game.
Yeah, have you heard of the game Power Wash
I know
Simulator?
Power Wash Simulator. Yes.
They released a 40k DLC.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Okay.
It's on my wish
All
list.
right.
And
Guaranteed.
the tagline for it is "Wash for the Emperor, scrub off the heretic, hose down the mutant, and soak the unclean" in this new DLC for Power Wash Simulator.
If you're a salamander, you don't use the hose. It's just a flamer.
No,
Yeah.
it
the real
looks quite
Power
good.
Wash.
I just couldn't justify it when I've got a Karcher out the back. Like,
But the funny thing is that you look like you're AdMech, and the gun, the Power Wash, Karcher pressure washer actually
Brilliant.
looks like he's one of his guns to
Brilliant.
clean.
Brilliant.
So they've
I like
actually put a lot of effort into it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We will move on to hobby progress. And Adam, you are up first.
Yes, not much movement on me, except for I started. What's the night we discussed what it was? I can't say it.
Ceratus Lancer.
Ceratus Lancer. It's part
Erastus
of my.
Lancer, yeah.
Thank you.
You bloody American.
Yeah, Chuck. It's Chuck. It's my second big model for the Knights. I think I've got one big more Knight to go, and 6 of those little War Dogs for 2,000 points. So I haven't started anything other than that. I may, my first Knight took about 2 years to build and paint. So, maybe in
So
10
you're on
years' time
track.
I'll finish it. I'm definitely on track for that. But it was actually a fun model to build. In fact, I quite enjoyed building it. I do agree what you said. They just come across. They just fit perfectly every single piece and everything like that. It was just like so easy. It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying painting that as well. Apart from just trying to paint other things, but I'm trying to save money.
Thank you much, Ezeval, for the resub. 41 months. Oh my gosh. But the good, they just did it straight out of the top, Adam, so we missed the last bit he said. So I'll move on.
That's fine.
So my hobby progress, I've got a fair bit done in the last month. I'm working on some Thousand Suns, Got the Demon Prince done. We'll have to take a better picture. It's too bright in that picture, but such a fun model to paint. That was from the Dark Gods Kickstarter, and had a lot of fun with that. Tried some new different techniques with the skin, and it's come out really nice. Try to make the eye look cataract, so that's why it looks quite pale over the eye there. So really happy with it, and got a couple of spawns done also from Dark Gods, which is good. And I'm just painting, trying to get the Thousand Suns done, because Anthony's got in front with his Sisters of Battle. What? I've had mine longer, and you've already done your 2,000? Son of a mother's. So trying to get those done. But that's where that's at. Speaking of Anthony, he has been doing Sisters of Battle. There's a couple of things to show off there. He's not on tonight, unfortunately, but he has been pumping out these Sisters of Battle. He is up to 2,000 points. We'll be running a battle of Drakari versus Sisters of Battle coming up soon, so be aware of that one. Michael?
I've been knocking out like the Deathwing Assault stuff, so a bunch of Deathwing Terminators, Deathwing Knights, Stern Guard, and Belial. Trying to convert up a Sergeant from one of the leftover bits of a Deathwing Knight. Just, checking out the new upgrade sprue and seeing how it goes with everything. Not too bad. Haven't painted anything because I have too many hobbies.
It's fair enough. You have been busy, and your busyness did come to fruition recently with the outside stuff, didn't it?
Yeah.
Travel and talk to foreigners.
Yeah, we went over to New Zealand, to see the Crown tourney. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So we'll excuse you for your hobby progress at this point. It's fine. Speaking of hobby progress, we have finally announced the winners of the Best Painted, which did happen on the Saturday night. While I'm talking, I'll just throw the nominees up there so you can have a look. So we went out to our local haunt for all our awards nights and to have a meal and a beverage, and we have a bit of a yarn catch up and award the awards. I have the bestest English. Some of the awards that you won't be seeing here is the ladder, the wooden spoon, and sportsperson. The sportsperson, who got that? He's so humble.
I think it should go to you for this year. I should pass, because I think I've won it like 3 years running, I think now. But I think after last night, I think you are going for the sportsperson of the year.
We'll go to the battle reports and that might give some context. But we're not yet. Mark, what did you do with the award night?
Well, that was fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Proof of life.
Proof of life.
I did accept it in person. It just happened to have been picked up by somebody else.
And what award was that?
Well, that was Wooden Spoon. I mean, it's great to be back on the bottom of the ladder. I mean, I've been off that ladder for ages. This is a big step up for me. I've got points now.
Well done. And the ladder winner was that guy. We won't talk about him because he's won it 6 years in a row. You're welcome.
Yeah, winning games are played at your place.
Winning is so passe. The real competition is at the Wooden Spoon. Let's be honest.
That has changed names more often than the ladder, yes.
I mean, cough.
But we did have a good night, and as I said, it was the award night for the Best Painted. You should have seen some nominees by now if you're watching the stream or the YouTube channel. And we will get through to who won what. Where would you like to start? What would you like to start with? That's to you three. What would you like to see first?
Who came second on the large?
Damn it, I can't have that. So we're going to large. Okay. So the winner for the large was that guy. That's me with the despoiler. I had a lot of fun with that night. And tried a lot of things, different things. The splash effect on the foot, I'm pretty happy with. I know I could probably do better next time, but it was fun. So I'm very happy that I got that done. I'm waiting for the picture of the actual front of the model, because so far you've seen its butt, its shoulder. There it is. There's the front of it. So that is the one that won the large. And in the squad category, no, we'll come back to that one. Go to the characters. The character. Oh my god, squad character. Like that, squad character. Best squad.
Well,
it came down to one vote to determine the winner, and the winner was Nathan with his Mega Knobs, the orcs in yellow. Again, it started off with the shoulder, so we'll just wait for it to turn around so you can actually see their face. But yeah, they looked very impressive. As soon as I saw that, like, it did get my vote. I thought, oh my god, that's nice, yellow, clean. Damn him. So that is the winner for the squad. And then we had the character. This one was a runaway winner, unfortunately for all of us who thought we did a good job. But he's not here tonight, so we can talk about him. It's alright. So the winner for the character is Anthony with Commander Dante. At least it started with his face this time, so you can actually see it. Again, very beautiful model that's done. And that is quite impressive gold. It's a very nice looking model. I think it was a converted model. That's not the actual Dante, is it? This is the one he converted?
He's converted.
Yeah.
Has he? I thought it was the actual one.
I think he's got a converted one and the right one, but I think this is
that's the real one.
This is the real
one.
one.
I think that's the actual one.
And
he converted an old one, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those were the winners of the night. Huzzah! Congratulations to everyone. And yes, I hold all the trophies, apparently, with the wooden spoon. You'll never see it again. And big thank you to Not Safe for Work for making the trophies as well. How good are they?
Indeed, they're amazing.
Yeah.
We're building a band.
Yeah. If you do want to see the full presentation night, you can check out the clip on YouTube. And you can say, oh, look at that idiot on the microphone. Yeah, that'd be me, but that's not the point. Right. Let's get on to, battle reports. It's been a big month.
A couple.
Yeah, it's been a big month. So we go to the first one. I don't even know what they are now. It's been so long. Battle report number 1. Oh, that's me. That is Sisters of Battle versus Thousand Suns. That's my game against Anthony. It was his first run with the Sisters of Battle, and I think my second run with the Thousand Suns. So we were learning. And it was a lot of fun. It was where the supply drop, where the things disappear. So there's a big rush to the back corner, which is the only one left. And strangely enough, my Zangors got me over the line. The Zangor Enlightens, they held it and just couldn't be taken off it. So that was actually a good win by the Thousand Suns over the Sisters. But it was a lot of fun. Celestine. Oh, that's right. Poor Celestine went back, left and right, and never got engaged. Oh, I've got to go fight these one over there. No, I've got to go fight these ones over there. And I just kept going up and down, up and down. It was good. It was fun. So, win to the Thousand Suns. You're welcome. Battle Report 2. That's you talking about this one. This is my Drakari versus Adam's Imperial Fist, and I will be quiet now due to rage.
Actually, it was the first time I played Imperial Fists, and first time you played Drakari on 10th edition.
It's true. I got excited with the new detachment.
Yep. And it was practically straight after that new detachment hit, and you just couldn't really wound me. It was just nothing could wound me, and it was just like, oh my god, Space Marines are awesome. I love Space Marines. And wait for the next couple of games. But yeah, the poor Drakari didn't really stand a chance, did they?
No, they did not. And I worked out that witches suck. Unfortunately, my whole army are witches. So
yeah.
What do you do?
But it was still a fun game.
Oh, it's still fun. I cried when she left, but it was still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it doesn't hurt at all. Battle Report 3, please. That is... I see a red tank. Man, it has been a while. That's Salamanders, and I think it's a Death Watch because of the red tank.
Or is that your Christmas?
No, it's not the Christmas battle. This is our mini tournament we had. So this is the Salamanders versus Death Watch. I stomped the Death Watch. Absolutely trounced them. Redeemers, Flamers, and Eradicators made short work for the Death Watch. I think the score was 100 to 40. So it was brutal. It was very brutal. Look, Chris is still learning the army. I'm not learning the salamanders. I think I'm getting the hang of them, so that hurt. What was that? Was that 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 5? Oh my god.
Would have been me and...
Oh, that's you and me. That is World Eaters and Salamanders.
Yeah.
That's your
Yeah.
shot. I talk enough.
I've forgotten who won that one.
Yeah, angry Ron.
I don't know. We'll say me.
I think it
'cause,
was-
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was by one. I think it was you by 1 point. I think it was really close.
Oh, that's right. It came down to the wire. That's right. Oh, this
Yeah.
is... No, you won this one, because this is the one that came down to the shock test.
Yes,
Yeah, so the battle shock test, which we'll talk about after the break.
but it was only by 1 point.
Yeah.
No. So yeah, it was like right down to turn 5, last move, and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was the battle shock was the thing that got me across the line.
And you brought the Throne of Corn or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and I didn't play him right. The skull, the Lord of Skulls.
Lord of Skulls.
Yeah, I didn't play him right. He just sat in the back on a point which, no one got to.
Yeah.
So he was useless.
Oh, he killed a few of my guys. Don't worry about that. 6. Alright, that is...
That's red and green.
Oh,
again.
that's Michael. That's Orcs and Dark Angels.
Oh, yeah, shit, I did play a game, didn't I? Yeah, I was testing out the Deathwing against Nathan's Orcs. And, yeah, we just kind of, had a big rumble in the middle there, where piles of Orcs rolled out of their flying machines and face-planted against Deathwing. My Deathwing were quite tanky. The Lion was very stabby until he got on his own and everybody shot him in the face because he's big enough that they can shoot him when he's in combat. So they did. He was doing really well until then, though. Once he got away from his bodyguard unit, though, it was all kind of over for him.
Yeah.
And I think that Nathan technically won that. We had to call it because we realized it was time to make dinner for children. But the tide was kind of starting to turn. I was grinding away at the Orcs. But yeah, he got it.
Yeah. It was good to get a game in, and I do love the floating boats for the Orcs, the conversions he's done. It's always good to see them on the table.
That was very cool.
Yeah. What have we got next?
Oh, those fucking dice were
we
so
have an
weird.
Underworlds game. 2 Underworld games with Anthony and Not Safe for Work Mark played. They're not here. I don't know what happened. We'll move on. I feel we've missed one.
Yeah, we missed
maybe.
2.
We've missed 2?
Myself through Anthony, which annihilated me, and
Yeah.
one with me and Chris.
Oh, I found the Salamanders versus Blood Angels in that tournament. And the Salamanders came out on top on that one as well. It just held the middle. It was just pure and simple. Just held the middle, and he couldn't get into it. So C4 Dark Mage just got sexy t-shirts because it's advertised in the shop at the moment. So, yeah, I posed for that. That's before the beer belly, clearly. So yeah, that was a good match. Yeah, the Flamers did the job. Salamanders in that new detachment can be quite devastating. It's brutal. So I don't think I got photos of your match. I think that's what your match versus Chris.
Let's not make photos of those because it was quite embarrassing.
Oh, I'll have this one then.
His Death Wash stood in top of the hill and on top of towers and just annihilated me from range. I just couldn't get in.
Well,
So it was just...
Get to talk
it was
about this
terrible.
one instead then, because this is yesterday's match.
Yeah, I'm still dirty with that one because quote back, almost a year ago, someone saying no model should be able to kill a tank with one shot, and oh my god, -5 AP. That's ridiculous. I can't save that. Do you
That's
remember
the
who that was?
the Hammerhead railgun, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. For a 200-point model or something?
it doesn't. It's not but one shot. It was one shot.
You'll-
You took my
D3 plus 1.
off.
Yes, I decide to bring a
Super heavy.
super heavy shadow sword. I'm just trying to figure out why I didn't hear the sound that you just played. So I brought a shadow sword, and I shot your Gorkanaut off the table with my first dice roll.
Yes.
Yep.
Well,
But what was the result of the game?
Me 4 points.
So who?
Me 4 points.
Yeah, so you
only
won, right?
Only because I got in combat and you couldn't shoot me properly.
I just didn't want to shoot you. That's clearly what it was. I had a good first round, and then I couldn't work out how to use a trigger after that. It was bad. I think I had one guy, the shadow sword and 2 tanks left on the table. Yeah. That one guy you couldn't kill from one squad.
But I think even on my side, I went down to 2 or 3 models. I know we worked out that by the end of it, I'd only have like my war boss and looters and the big squig, big mech.
But you got the win.
That was it. Yes, I did. It was a hard fought, and at the end of turn 1, I was ready to flip the table and go home.
And then, funny, at the end of turn 2, I was ready to go home.
Flip the table and go home.
Exactly right. Yes, Seafold Darkbank, you did miss. You can see the presentation on the YouTube channel, and you can see the full presentation and the models that won. I'm not going to go back through to show you now, because you should have been here earlier. How rude.
But we've had a lot of games, in the past 6 weeks.
Well, that's 8 battle
Apparently.
reports. It was actually at least 9 games played, because there was the one with you and Chris that we didn't get the photos for. So yeah, it's been busy, and I know there's been a few Underworld matches as well that we didn't get battle reports on. So it's been good. Good start to the year. In the meantime, let's have our small 30-second break, so then we can get into the topic of the month, which is it's break test. It's called break test, right? Not morale test. We should know that.
It's called a battle shock.
Battle shock. Sure.
It's
Whatever.
in the title.
Fine, sod it. I'm going to a break.
We are Rollers, and we have the games for you. Be it board games, card games, dice games, or party games. You name it, and we have it. Find us online at rollersboardgames.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at rollersboardgames.
From acoustic to distortion, Storyboard Concept is music that's honest, relaxing, and full ball rockin' music. Follow Colin at storyboardconcept.bandcamp.com. So, I love the app, the new app. They've done really well, especially when you're using the, what's it called? The
Army Builder.
Army Builder and the Command Bunker. Great. But their search engine is still shit.
Well, it's done by the same designer of the webpage.
Oh my god, the webpage. There's a whole episode just there.
That webpage is a fucking shambles.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
I do like it right now where he goes, what country are you from?
Every
Australia.
time!
Okay, I'll display it in pounds.
Every time.
I missed the made-to-order Bretonian stuff because I put in an order, the website said it worked, and it just never worked. It just didn't place the order. And I didn't realise this until after the made-to-order ended.
Yeah.
And it happened to me like 4 more times when I tried to order Old World stuff. And eventually I emailed customer service. It's like, what the fuck is going on? And they were like, oh, it sometimes does that with Westpac cards. We don't know why. They were like, oh, have you got a different credit card? Try using that. It's like, what kind of response
I've got
is
yours.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, can you prove it so you can put your credit card in? See how that works? Yeah.
You should have gone, I have money. You want my money. Make it happen.
Yeah.
And it still didn't work when I used PayPal or anything. It just took ages to get the thing to fucking work.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, we'll save that for episode 80, clearly for the website debacle. But we like the app.
Episode 80, you can web fuck yourself.
It'll be the most watched episode.
Yeah.
Alright, so we want to talk about Battle Shock, Battle hyphenated shock, the new rule for 10th edition where they deal with the morale. It used to be called morale tests, break tests, and it's now called battle shock tests, and how effective they actually are in the game. Do they do enough if you fail? Or do they do too much if you fail? Are there forces that get a good advantage because of it? Are there forces that require people to fail all the time to be actually useful? Now, there are a few forces... What is Battle Shock? Glad you asked. Mark's going to explain.
You take a test at the start of your turn and roll against your leadership if your unit is under half strength. And if you fail, stuff happens.
Pretty much. If you're under half strength, or if you're a character and you've taken a wound, or if you're a vehicle and you're under half health, you need to take a battle shock test. Yes. And you need to roll above your leadership. Not below it anymore, above it. So
Which does my head in a bit.
Yeah, it is a bit weird.
Yeah.
I get that it's great for new players, but 30-odd years of doing it the other way.
Yeah, when you'd have a Space Marine with a leadership 10, you go, this should be easy to pass. Then you roll the 2 6s and you go...
Yeah, and now you go in and you look and it's like leadership 3 or something, and you're like, oh, this could be bad. And then you realise, hang on.
That is good. Well, Marines, I think, are leadership 6 on average.
Yeah, 6.
So they still have a better than average leadership than most other units.
Yeah.
I think it's 7s and 8s for pretty much the other. I don't think there's anything higher than 9 or anything like that, I would have thought.
Orcs were 7.
Guard was 7.
Yeah, I think World Eaters are like 6 because,
Yeah. So, I just wondered about Cultists. Might have been a worse one. So, yeah, if you get hurt, you do need to take these battle... I'm going to keep calling them the wrong thing until I pause, think about it, say it. Battle shock tests at this in your command phase. If you fail the battle shock test, your OC, which stands for
Orange County.
Orange County, that's it. Objective control. If you fail, your objective control drops to 0.
Yeah, the Inquisitors will take away all your original content.
That's it. And then you cannot play a stratagem card on that unit either. That's the effect. Right?
And if you fall back, you take the checks.
If you fall back from combat, yeah.
If you're broken and you fall back, and then you've got to, what is it called? Desperate escape.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you
got to make the test to avoid the choppy chops.
Yeah, if you're in a vehicle and it blows up and you survive, you're still broken. And there are little things that will automatically break you, or battle shock you, sorry. And there are armies that rely on you to do tests a lot. So, yeah. Alright. So, Adam, you've played a few games. Sorry, Mike, I'll start with you, because you played Orcs against the Orcs.
Yes.
And the Dark Angels. Now, Dark Angels have something... They have a special thing with
we have like a thing. We don't suffer the objective control penalty, so it doesn't do very much to us.
Yeah.
And we also, I think we have a stratagem that is very good that you can use if one of your units has failed a battle shock test this turn.
Okay.
That's kind of it. It's actually a good thing for Dark Angels to have a unit that's failed a battle shock test.
See? It pays to worship chaos gods. So.
Yeah, like one of the early strats I saw for Dark Angels in 10th Ed was to deliberately throw a unit down the middle so you had a unit that failed a battle shock test.
Okay. But it's a Marine, it's very hard to do.
Yeah, the idea was just lose half of them and then just get fucked.
Expensive way of doing it.
Yeah. And
there was a lot of
Sorry.
was a lot of dumb shenanigans. The orcs didn't seem to be bothered by it at all.
So I remember, because I used to play orcs and back and forth, Ed, and if you did a morale test, because that's what it was called back then, if you failed, you went, hang on, how many orcs do I have here? Oh, I've got 20 of us. We're okay. That was a nice.
Yeah, the mob rule's gone.
Yeah, okay. That's not fun. They're orcs, but you can only have squads of 20 now, not 40 and stuff as well, isn't it?
Well, I mean, we also don't have like animosity rules anymore, and you don't fall off
loved
battle
it.
wagons anymore.
I love that rule. Yeah, who needs to fight the opposition? We're enough against ourselves. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, so they don't have that sort of things. All right, so what it does tell me is there are certain armies that get certain special abilities against the battle shock tests. Oh my god, it's going to drive me nuts. You know what I'm saying if I say morale or break tests. Get over yourselves.
We do know what you mean.
Good. Yeah, I missed the battle wagon rule too. I had 4 trucks that just stuck all the things on. It was good. Now, there are some armies that rely on the morale test. Damn it. There should be a count. The battle shock test. Now, you've got Chaos Demons, Adam.
Yes.
They rely on that a fair bit, don't they? Shadow
yeah,
Chaos?
Shadow Chaos, because as long as they're within the shadow, I can spend 1 CP, but that's bringing them up in reinforcements and stuff like that, so you pick other ones. But I noticed with the demons, it didn't really affect me, the morale or battle shock, that much to me.
Now, don't you have the Shadow Chaos, if there's the enemy in the Shadow Chaos, they need to do a break test?
If you're in my shadow, you have to do a break test.
Yeah, so he said break test.
Oh, battle shock, alright. But yeah, so if you're in my shadow, you have to take a battle shock test, which would actually hurt the armies, that are sitting on objective, and I just have more models in or control 1 objective marker in that or 2. That means the whole no man's land is in my shadow. Yeah. So if you're holding 1 and I hold the other 2, that means your OC is 0 straight away if you fail it. It actually would hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. If you fail it, you're also -1 ballistic skill. There's additional stuff. There's not just the normal break.
Yeah, so there's more in there for demons and stuff like that. But failing it is not that hard, really, these days, I don't think.
Failing it's not hard, or failing it's not that easy?
Failing it. Yeah, failing. You don't really fail. You've got to,
Yeah.
You've still got 5, 6 numbers to pick to not roll, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, if you're a Marine, you do need to roll above 6 or above.
Yeah, 50-50 chance.
Yeah. It's better than that.
But I've also got a couple of units or a couple of armies where certain times if I injure you or hit you or take a model away, you have to do a battle shock test, even if you're above half strength. So
yeah, the shock attack gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't. I've got a couple of armies that do that, and it's just like, haha, I've killed 1 unit. Battle shock test, and it's just like, what? The Lance, one of the Imperial Knights does that as well.
Yeah. So what I'm getting, I just want to highlight a few armies that have some reliance on these battle shock tests against the opposition, and then talk about how effective it actually is. I run Chaos Knights. Now, their whole army detachment relies on battle shock tests.
Pausing, yep.
Yeah, it's the Harbinger of Dread, which means, it's -1 leads you to battle shock tests and stuff like this, but that's their whole army. They don't get any other bonuses like the other Imperial Knights get, a lot of nicer things like that. But if I'm fighting against things, a 6+, or I don't get to be... I forgot the word I was going to use then. It's good. Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that too. Yeah.
So I found the stratagem that I was thinking of in the index.
Yep.
Dark Angels have had, I think it's in the Codex as well, but I'd have to check, and my Codex is out of reach. Unforgiven Fury. You can use it on a unit. The unit gets lethal hits for a turn. If you have any unit that has failed a battle shock test, then that unit gets a 5+ critical hit that turn.
Nice. Okay,
Which is
so
pretty
that
cool.
gives them better for... Yeah, okay. And I remember what I was trying to say. The knights get bonus against broken units. But if the units don't break, they just never get that bonus.
Yeah,
across
same
the
as
board.
the demons.
Yeah. Drakari, they get power from pain tokens if a unit breaks. It's very hard, or they kill something. And, well, my Drakari don't know how to kill things. They need to go back to school or something, I don't know. But they just don't know how to do it. So...
They need to go back to pain school.
Yeah, go back to pain school. So it's... they suffer there if you can't break sign. Like, look, we play... In our group, there's a lot of Space Marine players. So we're always
In
playing
every
against
group, there's a
essentially
lot of
six.
Space Marine players.
Yeah. Every one of us has at least one Space Marine detachment to play with in our group. So we are generally playing against 6+ units. So it makes it very tough. We talked about demons. Tyranids. Here we go. This is you, Mark. Oh, shit, he goes. I've got to remember stuff.
Yeah, well,
Synapse.
Yeah, they've kind of torn up Synapse, really. I mean, it essentially amounts to you get an extra dice for your rolls when you're in Synapse range now.
To do leadership tests.
Yeah, so you do leadership tests all the time.
Yeah.
If you're in Synapse, you get an extra dice. If you're not, then it's the same as everybody else, and you just get shit leadership stats. So it's a
lame.
big departure from the old.
You're immune to psychology.
You're
You're immune
psychology,
to,
yeah.
to everything unless you're out of Synapse, and they've changed the shadow in the warp as well. So instead of that, just destroying people's lives from a psychic phase type perspective, now it's once per battle. I can just make your whole army take a battle shock test.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I guess is really good if they're hunkered down on a bunch of objectives. You can just drop that and then stomp your way over the top and take a round
on
of
the last turn and hope that it stops from scoring points. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
So...
But I see the thing is that the Tyranids are very much a sort of 3-turn type of side. You know, you either run over the top of stuff or you're battling to survive till the end of the 5th turn.
Synapse really has a short range now. 6 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Ouch.
And it used to be, like the bigger creatures and stuff would give you
Significantly
like
bigger,
12 or 18 inches.
Yeah.
But the thing is that I could see a bunch of players just ignoring that entirely and just not bothering with Synapse at all, because I mean you are more likely to pass the battle shock, but I mean really, what are you losing in a lot of instances when you've lost half like that?
Yeah. Great.
Because I'd imagine it'd be a lot of gaunts and gants and stuff like that would be taking these tests much more often than other stuff.
It's kind of removed one of the defining features of the army, like that whole Synapse makes or breaks your army. Take down the big ones and discoordinate the little ones. None of that happens anymore because it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, and you don't get any of that, like the psychic backlash or anything like that either. So, yeah, I hadn't actually read the Codex before today. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. So there's some armies...
I mean, unless I haven't
I
read
guess we should say.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a look at the data sheets for like the Flyrants and stuff like that to see if when they have a death type. Yeah, see, they don't have anything.
No.
Have they even gotten rid of the death throws off these?
Probably
I know
Sage,
Deadly
isn't it?
Demise is still on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Good, because I thought they would have. Yeah. potentially taken that off us too. So I don't even get explosion. You know?
So that's highlighted that Tyranids, Chaos Knights, Chaos Demons, Drakari. There's 4 that have a big effect of the new Battle Shock test and the way it's played. Synapse is a non-event thing. Chaos Knights, their whole detachment relies on it. Paying tokens for Drakari, it needs it. Chaos Demons need to be more effective for other people to break. But here's the thing with the other part of if you do break it. Sorry, you were going to say something, Michael. I saw you.
I didn't say anything.
No, I thought you
I was going to say something.
Okay.
So, like, it doesn't affect the combat effectiveness of any of your units, really. Like,
No.
All this does is change whether you're able to hold a point against another unit.
I mean, it can fuck you up if you're in close combat as well.
If you try to fall back,
yeah.
I think it forces you to fall back, doesn't it?
No.
Nope.
No.
Oh, no,
No.
it just means you can't fall back easily.
So
Correct.
if you fall back, then you have to take the desperate escape, which is model dies on a 1 or 2.
Yep.
If it were me, I would simply not fall back.
Well, yeah, and
Exactly.
is there any reason to fall back at that point? I mean, yes, you've lost half a unit, but they're still combat effective, so you could potentially wipe out another unit in the next round anyway.
I guess it's a hindrance to armies that like to fall back. There are some that love doing it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
But also, if you've got a unit in melee and you're going to try and take them out and they've failed at that, and you are relying on dropping a couple of stratagems on top of that unit to annihilate that other army, well, you can't do that either because you can't put stratagems on them.
Yeah, and see that favors things like berserkers and melee armies, because what happens is you charge the gun line, they break, they try to fall back, they can't use any of the stratagems, they can't just sort of fall back 6 inches and then wail on you and destroy you like days of old. And in a lot of cases, they're going to roll a bunch of 1s and 2s and probably reduce that that model count down again. So I mean, I can definitely see that being a benefit to the melee armies, but I don't know. It just feels like they've taken some of the teeth out of morale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I heard a lot of people complain, or at least they said that people didn't like how deadly the previous morale one was. I never noticed it as being particularly deadly.
Yeah, I
when
didn't
you
either.
failed and you failed big, it was deadly.
I was a Space Marine player, so I didn't fail.
No, because you could only
models.
lose one model at a time. You
And-
couldn't
and
lose
in-
more than that.
Yeah.
And with Nids, I just ignored the whole thing. Like it was.
Whereas
You know.
with demons, when you got 20, you could lose big. Orcs, when you're running 30 men,
Yeah,
30
guard,
squad,
yeah.
you lose big. Guard with you use your conscripts and all them, you'd lose big. But these days, you don't lose models anymore.
No, and I feel like morale's always been a huge part of the 40k game. Back, we mentioned it when it was called morale test, break test. I can't remember. 4th, 3rd edition. When if you failed, especially if you're in combat, you ran away. You had to run away towards the table edge.
And you ran. Well, was it toward the table edge, or
The
did you
deployment zone, I think it
scatter?
was. No, it was
It
towards the deployment
depended
zone.
by edition.
Ah.
Some of them it was the nearest. Some of them it was the nearest table edge. And some
I
of them
remember
it was
the nearest table edge, and you had a chance if you were the opposition to run them down. That was always fun. And that had big
Sweeping advance
consequences
was
of
brilliant.
breaking.
Yeah. I loved sweeping advance.
Yeah.
Because as a melee army, you could chase them down, and then you could chain onto other units and stuff.
Yeah.
But the Tau people had a cry.
So I want to touch on 2 things regarding the morale, and you've already touched on it regarding combat and the strategy. So if you're in combat, you want to fall back, and you're broken, you have to do a desperate escape. It's risky, absolutely risky. On a 1 and 2, you are dead. Not mortal wound, just dead.
And I think we needed some of that, because for a while there, yeah, you could charge somebody, smack a bunch of their guys, and then they'd just fall back and then just completely annihilate you with.
But you still have to break them, so you still have to get them under half strength to be able to force the test, and then they've got to fail the test, and then they've got to decide to run away. Before anything to happen.
If you're if you've got a unit of berserkers or gene stealers or something like that, I mean, if you've hit at mostly full strength, you very conceivably can wipe out more than half.
You haven't seen Adam roll his berserker. But
I usually go and try and take out his melee. When in melee, I usually go. He goes, "Oh, that's a squad of 10. I'll just pick him up now, shall I? Yeah, I'm just saying, you do morale."
So it plays a part if you're in combat, and if melee forces, you wanted to break them, but it's still hard to break because no modifiers. Sorry, there are some armies that have some stratagems and stuff that might make a -1 leadership to it, but still, a 6 and a 7, it's hard to fail. Yeah, I think there should be more about when you're in combat and you've just been stomped on, and you should be going, I'm going to shit myself, I should run away and pay for it, have a penalty on that. It's not I'll just stay and hold you up.
Like at the very least,
left, but
at the very least, a broken unit should need to make a check to see if they stay in combat or something.
Yeah.
Not just keep fighting because I might as well.
Yeah. Fighting full strength.
Fritz, let's go.
If I'm going to lose the models anyway, I may as well at least get the chance to fight back.
That's it. The tactic. Michael was just saying, he throws a Dark Angel army up the middle, get hurt, and we're more effective now. Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or you just throw, here's a cheap unit to hold up your Khorne berserkers. You may kill them, or you don't, and then you're held up in combat away from the rest of my army. And then I'll pull back with no penalty to me and shoot the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really missing a part of the morale in the combat side of things. Absolutely, I think there should be bigger consequence. But that's the combat part. I want to move on to 2 other areas as well, if you're ready.
Yep.
All right. So you fail a morale test. You lose your OC. How often is that going to play a part?
Me, not very often, because I don't lose my OC.
Fairly, I would imagine if you don't have any stuff to prevent that, which, let's face it, we're getting new codexes and they're probably all going to have some version of that rule, quite a lot, because you're going to have units sitting on an objective at some point that will. But at some point, we'll suffer this.
If you've got, say, 2 units on an objective marker, and you've got everyone else is not on objective marker, what's the penalty for the other units that aren't on the objective markers? Like, I've got a gun line right in the back. I'm not moving because it's a shadow sword. Why would I? But okay, I've lost my OC. I've also lost my stratagems. I still have a big fucking cannon.
I guess,
and that's it. Yeah, because say somebody alpha strikes your unit and blows it down to 1 guy or something like that, but you've still got a rail cannon or something like that. You can still shoot at full effectiveness. You know, like it's not like he's lost ballistic skill or forced to run away or anything like that. He can just stand there and YOLO it.
So we've played a lot of games. Sorry, Michael, you go first.
I was going to say, there are a lot of armies that rely heavily on stratagems, and like some units that can throw out crazy bullshit if they get a stratagem off. So I do like the idea of I can shoot them enough to stop them using that fucking stratagem.
Yeah, so I want to come back to stratagem. So I want to start with the OC, because the stratagem will come back to. I want to start with the OC side.
And then, yet again, it's cool that you can make a squad lose possession of the objective by shooting the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
But it's not super reliable.
No. We played, I think we worked out it was 42 matches for the group last year. I know 1 game where reducing the OC to 0 made an effect and lost the game.
Yep.
I was the one who lost the game, and Adam won the game. But that's the only time failing has actually made a game change. Went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I lost the OC at that last moment. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So
It's
does
not
it
a
really
high
have...
rate of like.
No.
Not a high rate of effectiveness.
No,
I mean, it's not a high rate of effectiveness, but, I mean, we have a person in the group that has lost a game as a result of this.
One game out of 40 plus games has actually come into effect that it's actually changed the outcome of the game. That
I mean, it's
morale is yeah.
And
I
it
feel
could
like morale
the
should be a
amount
bigger
of
part.
effectiveness they were going for.
yeah. It's more effective than seizing the initiative. You know, remember the whole roll of 6? You get to go
Oh
first?
my god, yeah.
I have literally never made that 6. In my entire 40k career, I never once successfully seized the initiative.
Yeah.
And I played a lot of fucking games with that rule.
Alright, so I feel there's not a lot of effect. 40 plus games has happened once to do the game. Now I'll go back to stratagems. And you were talking about, yes, a lot of armies require use a lot of stratagems and stuff like that. It's true.
Yeah.
But command points are at a premium now. It's not as easy to have command points. So you don't get the bang, 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 4 stratagems all at one play. Well, I know we don't. We tend to forget our stratagems. Maybe we're not a good example for playing them.
But by the same token, a lot of the time, when people are using stratagems at a premium, there's one unit that they have a plan to use the stratagem with that unit, and you can often tell because the unit is setting itself up to do some bullshit. And if you can force them to fail their battle shock test, you can stop them using the stratagem and fucking you over.
Yeah.
So you can kind of treat it a bit prophylactically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
But it's not reliable.
No,
yeah, it's not
reliable.
a
If they're
reliable
Marines,
thing to do.
they're unlikely to fail.
Yeah, it all comes down to they're unreliable. Yeah. And there's also... sorry, go on.
I mean, I haven't seen a lot of stuff that modifies people's tests and stuff either. There's no, like... I would expect something like Witches or, you know, or Chaos or something like that to have a, here's this ability that screws your saves on the leadership tests.
What would be good to see is, with that battle shock, you know, it really starts when you're under half strength. So you go, if you're under half strength, starting models 10, you have lost 5 models, well, plus 5 to your leadership. Well, now that's going to make it go to from a 6, you know, so 5-man squad, half strength 2, that's going to change from a 6 to an 8, which is going to make it even harder. It's also going to hurt units that are 10-man squad. That's just going to make that battle shock test really like, oh, I really need this, and then you get 11. Yeah, I need 11.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to pass this, whatever I'm going to get.
Yeah, but you're not adding the fallen models to the count anymore.
No, but it'd be good if you did, because that would actually make the no OC and no stratagems, because then you know you go, look, yeah, I was 6, I'm just going to pass that anyway, easy enough, and you go, oh, now I'm at 8, now I'm at like, I really need some high numbers rolls.
Yeah.
So interestingly, when you mentioned that there are some armies that have units that affect it, I was like, I wonder if Reavers still have that rule. Because remember how Reavers used to give you like -1 leadership? Reavers, if they get into your engagement range, you automatically take a battle shock test at the start of the fight phase.
Yep.
Everyone engaged with them takes a battle shock test, and you get -1 on that test.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
So the unit can do it. So there are a few units out
It's
there.
like a use case for Reavers, yeah.
Yeah, there is a few units out there that do force battle shock tests out of sequence. The shock attack gun,
and
the Reavers. Yeah.
And they force them with a disadvantage, which is actually not terrible.
Yeah. But it's not terrible. They still fight full strength.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't put a strategy.
But
on it.
at least it's a unit that is more likely to cause a battle shock test and make you unable to withdraw and shoot them.
So, would that be a tactic for a Space Marine player to take that squad in the goal to force people to take break tests? Sorry,
I mean,
battle
I'm
shock
kind of
tests.
tempted to. I'm curious if I can put Reavers in a transport or something so they didn't suck.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's units out there that can force battle shock tests out of sequence. But
Yeah.
would people build armies around those units to force battle shock tests? Like, is it effective enough? They're getting value for it. All right, yeah, I've shocked them. Okay.
I don't see anyone building an army to do it, but you might make a unit to do it in certain situations. Like, you'd be like, okay, this is my battle shock unit to try and get around there and stop them holding an objective, or to do this bullshit. You might have some shenanigans that one or two units do as a side hustle,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't build an army around it.
And it might be one of those things where you do it to pick on a unit that you might know that has a worse leadership stat than Space Marines or whatever.
Yeah, but then you're list tailoring. You
are doing that, but I mean that's literally what we're talking about here is list tailoring.
No, I'm saying list tailoring to enforce the battle shock test. If you went to a tournament or a casual tournament or just a mini tournament that you don't know your opponent, would you be putting units in there specifically to try and force break tests?
I can't see people doing it just because, the benefit doesn't seem to be there. It's not a reliable. Like, even with the -1 modifier, it's not that reliable to make people fail a battle shock test.
Yeah.
And even if they do fail, you're sort of basing your strategy on them falling back and losing models as a part of that. And I mean, if you're charging into a melee unit, they're not going to fall back. They're going to want to fight back and have another round in combat. If it's a gunline army, yes, they will want to fall back, but depending on the unit that you're talking about, they may find it easier to just stay in combat rather than lose models.
Yeah.
To a desperate escape.
I honestly am kind of tempted to see how effective 10 Reavers in a Storm Raven just being shit heals is, or in a drop pod, just to fuck with it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I love
It'd be
that
interesting,
concept.
to try and sneak into the back line and get people off their home objective or something.
Yeah. Oh, I like the concept, and I'm all for it. I want to see how you go. I'm not playing against you.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it working. I could see it working against gun lines and things like that, where you've dropped some deep strike in, they've charged in, they've fucked stuff up, and the normal play would be fall back, run a stratagem, decimate whatever charged you, and then hop back on the objective. And what this does just completely nerfs that whole fallback and fuck them up. So
okay,
I as I said, it's still really unreliable, because I mean, on average on a 2d6 you're going to roll a 7. If you're a Space Marine player, I mean, yeah, and
all right. So the question now is, how do you fix it? What are the suggestions to make battle shock tests an actual influential part of the game? Dum 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 dum. I heard one suggestion. I can't remember who said, but not only do you lose the stratagem and the OC, but you also lose the special skill on your card.
That would be interesting.
That would change it quite a lot.
Yeah, every unit's got a special ability on their card.
I would even go to the point of doing like what happens in the old kill team. If you're shocked, you can't do anything in that turn. You just take whatever hits that you're going to be getting, which will make it so much brutal.
I like the idea that even when they're shocked, they can still operate.
Yeah. But not well.
But for example, in one of the previous editions, when you were broken, you could still fire, but you could still move, but you could not move towards the enemy. Any movement you had to do had to be away from the enemy.
Yeah.
But make it brutal instead of, oh look, I can still shoot.
I also wonder.
Yeah.
I also wonder if a check should be in there to force them to fall back.
Yeah, like I think that if you're broken and a bunch of lunatics start fucking stabbing you with big swords, you probably should need to take a test and not run away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like bring back fucking Warhammer Fantasy undead fear rules. If you are beaten by a fear-causing opponent who outnumbers you in terms of models, you automatically run away.
Yeah. So
shit like that.
I think there's a quick fix on that one with if you're in hand-to-hand combat, you fail, you have to flee.
Yeah. They should have to fall back.
They should have to fall back. And suffer a desperate escape to do so.
Yep. Make it.
Yeah, they've shut themselves. Why would they stay there?
All right.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if they don't need to
full
take the desperate
capacity.
escape, but they must run away.
Yeah.
But, all right, they've got 6s and 7s leaderships. If you fail a 6, well, you really want them to run away, and hopefully roll 1s and 2s, which makes them down numbers. Make it worthwhile. Make it not a toothless tiger.
Yeah. So there we
Because
go.
I mean, as it is, it has potential, but it's just so wet noodle.
Yeah.
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 The real question is how that will wind up being abused.
Oh, you're going to
Hopefully, really interestingly.
Yeah. I think really
Hopefully.
interesting. Yeah.
you're probably going to find people just like analyze it, and next thing you're going to have these massive armies that just cause battle shock and then just decimate everything. But
I think the other way.
Pushes away my old Warhammer army of with fucking 80 to 120 skeletons in it.
But
it's
the breaking,
a valid tactic, though.
It is a valid tactic for the defender as well. If I have a screen of absolute shit kickers to stop that Khorne berserker charge, all right, so my unit's fled, but now your Khorne berserkers are out in the open and I can shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's ways you can do it. That's where your screen can actually play the fact. Do you make it so that if they run, do the Khorne berserkers get to do a sweeping advance and chase them down instead of the break test, so desperate escape? Because they might get back into combat, or what benefit do they have? Because if they're going to break someone, they're going to run away, and it leaves them exposed. What's the advantage of the Khorne berserkers to break that unit?
Yeah, you could also go to the point of making it even more complex. Like if the unit that charged in was the one that caused the battle shock test, they get a plus to the saving throws and stuff like that. So if they do run away, well then they've got a plus in the saving throws to protect them a bit long because they're out of melee now. You know what I mean? But that's like getting complexed.
Bring back fucking contagious panic. If a unit sneaks past you, you take a break test.
I remember that.
That was hilarious.
Good. But I think remember the 10th edition is trying to remove some complexity, so adding multiple mechanics on. But a simple mechanic could be use your -1 ballistic skill, weapon skill. That's not a big, complex
you are worse at
mechanic.
shooting.
And
Because you shit yourself.
This is the other thing, though, is that there's no... So you automatically rally the next turn.
Yep.
Even just give them automatically strikes last.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing could potentially be to add a step where you have to roll... You have to pass that leadership test every turn, or you stay battle shocked.
Well, at least you've got to pass the battle shock to no longer be battle shocked. Because as you said, at the end, my next command phase, I'm no longer battle shocked. I don't have to prove that I know what I'm doing. I just go, yep, that was a scary turn. I'll get back into the fight. Yeah.
Well, actually, yeah, because I mean, if you're below half strength, do you then keep taking battle shock?
No.
I'm honestly not sure because it's never
Yeah, I've
come
just
up.
gone.
I don't know. Usually, when I'm down to below half strength, that unit
so
is a sponge.
So essentially, yeah, okay. So I can see why they've gone with the rally, the auto rally, but you're basically taking that shock test again to see whether you get your shit together or not.
It's all right. We've been playing. We don't break very often. That's the problem.
Yeah. Usually, once you break, I've always found once I've broken, I die the next round.
But I mean, even if you pass that, initial break test, your next
You're still
turn,
below
you're
half
still,
strength.
You're
You're
still
gonna
below
keep
half,
taking
and you're
checks.
gonna be taking checks every time you.
Yeah, there's nothing that says
start.
you're immune to it once you've done it once. It looks like you just keep taking them for the rest of the game.
Yeah. So I mean,
and that each units on the battlefield is below half strength. Yeah, you keep doing it.
And that brings a new dimension into it, because what it means is potentially you can have a unit that's alpha striked in turn 1 that cannot take a objective all game.
So that does make it a big impact that they're no longer OC for... Well, they potentially, if they keep failing, they could be no OC, no stratagem for majority of the game.
Oh, so that lone guy could have...
That one guy?
Yeah, that one guy.
Nah, he was invulnerable, mate. I just spent the CP to make it part insane bravery. Yeah. I do like they changed that so you have to spend it before the roll as opposed to
yeah, you can't roll first.
Well, not only that, but I think they've made it so that you can only use it once.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, because they feel that morale has a big part of the game,
which I thought was weird because it's not a big part of the game.
No, it's not.
But I guess you don't want the ability to completely negate an army special rule, which is morale based.
True.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I mean, as I said, having that happen every single turn does change the calculus on that. But I definitely think that they should be falling back. There should be a test to fall back, whether they fall back or not from combat, because like they're not just going to crap their pants and continue fighting as normal.
Yeah. Like, people panicking in close combat and running away is like the trope. That's what happens when people panic in close combat in like all games and cinema and everything.
Yeah.
Feels weird that they just don't.
But it's okay, they can't hold the objective.
Look, John's just fallen over. I'll just keep fighting.
I'm the only one left standing, but I'm okay. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, that used to be a special guard thing, it's what Imperial Guard do.
Yeah.
We die on our feet, that was like their shtick.
Yeah, last man standing, it was good. The commissar, I think the commissar only gets you to reroll. It's not even an auto pass now. You still get killed, which why wouldn't you?
And you keep rerolling.
I failed.
I failed. Bang!
Just keep going down. Yeah.
Yeah, you just shot someone and then everyone picked themselves back up.
Commissar. What is his ability? It is once per battle round. Oh, they're no longer... You kill one and they're no longer battle shocked. There you go.
They get better.
Yeah, because it used to be reroll. That's what it was. 9th edition was you shot them and you get to reroll the test. You said, but they suck. Yeah. All right, so
and then you had to add the dead. And then you had to add the one you just shot to the tally.
Well, that's the other part is it's very rare your leadership gets adjusted unless there's a special, like the Chaos Demons, Chaos Knights. They have modifiers, and you can put, sometimes there'll be a stratagem that might do it, or a special unit like the Reavers.
See,
But
I think
realistically, a 6+ for a Marine who's now down to the last person for his 10-person squad and still running on 6. There should be some. Like I liked and I hated the rule is if you lost 5, you added 5 to your roll.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this edition would be not the way. It'd be -5, but yeah.
Yeah.
It should be harder to succeed.
Yeah, if like half your unit dies in one turn, that should have more effect than, oh shit, we lost one guy. Wait, that means we're down to half strength over the last 5 turns. Fuck. It should not have the same impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to write to GW and tell them how to fix battle shock rules. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk. Tell them if you're in combat, you have to run away. If you fail, you run. Yep. 2 tiers a bucket. Fuck it. We're out of here. That's it. Or if you don't like that, then you're going to be forced to strike last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
some
a simple
kind
one.
of meaningful disadvantage in close combat.
Yep.
Yeah, because otherwise they're just... Because I know for a fact that if my Gants fail their... Sorry, my Gaunts fail their morale test, they're just going to sit there and continue sponging whatever the fuck it is they're screening me from.
Yeah.
So, like that desperate escape test is just, meaningless because they're all just going to die anyway because that's what they're there for.
Yeah. Remove the special abilities? What do you reckon?
Well,
some use it affect more than the others, but it's those gun lines that don't stand on objective markers and they're not in combat. What penalty do they have?
they should, if for gun lines and like Astra Military, you can't put orders on them.
You can't
Well,
put
you
orders
can't
on it.
put. Well, you
No,
can't.
you shouldn't be able to
stratagems
put
on them.
orders.
Well, that'd be like a stratagem, like that sort of thing. But
The real question is whether, because in a lot of instances, the stratagems have replaced some of those special rules that units had.
every data card has a special rule. Every data card.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to say yes.
Because we've worked out how to fix the combat side of things, so that makes sense. If you're in combat and you get fucked up, you're going to run away. Good. If I'm a gun line and I get stuffed up, I'll still keep shooting and 2 tiers in a bucket.
And I mean, I guess it feels a bit of a lore kind of fluff perspective that, you're not going to do your super special thing when you're all fucked up and panicking,
Yeah.
But I guess also, you're more likely to keep fighting effectively if you're not under threat, even if you are kind of broken.
Yeah. Viewers, give us opinions on how you think leadership tests and battle shock tests should be. Or if you're happy with them, tell us that too. But if you're not happy with them, what do you reckon they could be done to make them better? Should leaderships be so low? 6+, 7+? I mean,
I think they should be higher because,
I get the Marines because it's the no fear, right? That's why they got.
Yeah,
the
and for
lower
the longest time we were like immune to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you had a 10+ leadership and a reroll if you failed. It was ridiculous. It's very hard to break them, and I get that. That's part of the law of the Marines. But whenever most people are 7s. Grots. Well, what are Grots? They should be at least 8. 7.
7 and 8.
Grots are
7.
seven.
Yeah, there you go. So they're the same as Imperial Guard, Drakari.
I'll tell you in a second.
And pretty much everything else. It's alright. Commissar 6 up. Yeah.
Grots should be like if you fucking look at them, they their battle.
Well, that's the same. It doesn't seem to have that flavour of how that works. Chaos Knight
Boys
is
are
a 6.
7s. Gretchen's
Yeah,
are
like-
a 7, and oh no, that's the run herd. Gretchen is an 8.
Okay. Even still, it
Conqueror's
feels
a
like
7. Yep.
it feels like it's a very flat
Yeah.
stat. They seem to be 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
There's 3 of them. There are 3 leadership values.
Yep. And even 6, 7,
That's-
even 8 doesn't have.
8's rare.
Yeah. Poxwalker is an 8. There you go. Yeah. Plague Marines, 6. Yeah, they're Marines, so that makes sense. So 6, 7, 8. That's it.
Yeah, it's like, are you a Marine? You're a 6. Are you a normal person? It's a 7. Are you a sucker? It's an 8. Like,
Walker's idea to do it. If he breaks, it should affect his units positively and the opponent's units in negative ways. If he breaks.
so you're a Dark Angel player, is what you're saying.
Do Greenskins and Guards still have stuff where you kill one to rally them? Guard do, yes. You got the commissar.
Yeah, the commissars can do that.
Yeah.
They
Probably
apparently,
run-
if they're attached to the squad, they let you re-roll it as well.
Probably the runt herd within the Gretchen probably has that, but I don't know. Does anyone run Gretchens anymore?
Well, I'd love to, but yeah. Astra Militarum. So the commissar is once per battle round. Not per battle.
You only got to be running battle shock tests once per battle round.
round. Well, no, you can
No.
have those ones out of sequence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you can't have the commissar kill more than one person per battle round.
No, and you can't. If you had 2 commissars, you can't have one fouled, the other one will try. It doesn't work that way. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and it's within 12 inches, so they don't even have to be part of the unit.
Yeah, they just have
excellent.
to be nearby.
Yeah, just 12
Well,
inches.
you know, they're always on the lookout for traitors and heresy.
Yeah, Poxwalker being mindless, well, they used to not suffer morale, but they do now. Yeah, so, sorry, C4 Darkmane's just mentioning Poxwalkers being mindless. Should be better morale than a Grot. Grot should be terrible morale, unless you have a Runt Herder.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the whole point. Multiple commissars blasting away, yes. Causing battle shock to their own units, because they've gone to bit gun happy. Yeah. So, overall, battle shock tests in the new 10th edition. Does it play a part in a majority of games? Sorry, it has a part. Does it have an influence on the outcomes of the game the way maybe we think it should?
Does it meaningfully affect the
Thank
games?
you.
And I'm going to go with no, not in my experience so far.
Yeah. I've had one game that's made a difference out of all the games we've played.
Well, the times
Well-
I have lost battle shock, it's just like that was there. Wasn't going to put a stratagem on that unit anyway because it's about to die. So, no, it doesn't.
Yeah. That's another good point. If you've only got one person left in the unit, are you going to play a stratagem on him?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if it's a particularly bullshit strategy.
You do. You play the grenade because they still rolled 6d6 even if there's only one left in that squad. Because exactly what I did yesterday. I went, holy shit, really? Alright, grenade!
He's just picked up all the grenades off the dead
That's it.
bodies and thrown them all in one hit.
Yeah, I think they changed my Gene Stealer Cult stratagem where my guys, bikers, roll up and throw grenades at you. I think they changed that so that it's like just a set number, not based on the number of models anymore.
Is it an ability, or they just have the grenade keyword and it's 1 CP to use grenade? Because most units now, that if they used to have grenade as an ability, it's now you need to use the stratagem instead.
Oh, well, we used to have a stratagem where you could get your bikers, if they had demo charges, you could absolutely fucking annihilate a unit by throwing the entire squad's demo charges in one turn.
Yeah.
I think they've changed that. I'm pretty sure I used it, and it's different now.
While you're looking that up, C4 Darkmane saying, I think in some editions morale was too dominant in games. I still haven't played much of the current edition. Was it ninth? That was the one where if you lost one, you'd roll a d, and you could lose more. You could lose almost the entire squad. That was last edition. That was quite devastating. Absolutely. Third or fourth ed I'm thinking of is the one where we ran towards the nearest table edge. I think it was fourth ed, and you had to successfully come back from your break test to turn around. I thought that worked beautifully. I loved that one. Trying to roll that leadership test before they go off the edge of the table. Yeah. Because they're shit scared. They're running. That's the whole point of being battle shocked, right? Find a balance. Yeah. So meaningful.
That's what they changed it to. They gave the blacks an ability called Demolition Run, where once per battle round, if they after they end their move, you can pick an enemy within 6, and then roll 1 die for each model in the unit. On a 4+, they take 1 mortal wound. What that used to be is the entire squad, if they had demo charges, could all throw their demo charges, and they all hit like a fucking crack missile.
Oof. Ouch.
And that's very different.
Yeah. Fair enough. Alright, so I think we came to... Michael said no. I didn't hear what Mark and Adam said. Is it meaningful in the games? Is morale a meaningful mechanic in the game of 10th edition?
I said no. It feels too much like a toothless tiger.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, having played precisely 0 10th ed.
Enough to get the wooden spoon.
Well, no, I got it off the back of 9th.
Fair enough.
So yeah, but it's hard to say really. I mean, I could see it making an influence potentially on a really, really close game, but most games aren't that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as the Toothless Tiger. I don't feel that it plays enough a part of the game. Morale used to be a huge part of the game.
Yeah.
As Darkmane said, sometimes too dominant, but there's mechanics for certain factions that rely on people breaking. But even now they break, so what?
Yeah, and I mean, you may see some of those get buffs when the codexes come out and stuff. I think some of the thing that's made it particularly toothless is some of that attitude of we don't do modifiers more than +or -1.
To hit roll is the only one that has the +or -1 cap.
Yeah, whereas but have you seen any morale modifiers that have been anything other than a -1?
No, I've never had a chance to stack or anything like that. But yeah.
Yeah, they took away the Reaver Lieutenant's ability to stack leadership with the Reavers. Now he just increases their range.
Yeah. So in general, it's generally no more than a +/-1.
Yeah, and that potentially could be hurting some of those factions that rely on the morale thing more. Because I mean, if you were playing as Drukhari or something, and you could stack -3, -4 onto someone's leadership tests, that could be, that would make the, failing a battle shock test more reliable, and potentially make that a lot more meaningful. Because again, I mean, once they've failed that, but even then, like, say you could put reliably like a -4 on someone's test to make them reliably fail that pretty much all the time. What are you really getting? Say you're doing a full strength unit, you force them to have a battle shock test, they fail the battle shock test, they lose their OC, which if they're not sitting on objective, means nothing.
Yep.
They don't lose any combat capability whatsoever.
Yep.
Other than being able to not have stratagems played on that unit. So, like,
I think it would be really good in that situation if you could target it such a way that you could go, I'm going to make that unit fail, because you would do that to the unit that you knew wanted to use a stratagem, or you would do that to a unit that you knew was on an objective.
Yeah.
And at the very least, you'd be forcing your opponent to reserve CP to use a fucking ability to automatically pass that check.
Yeah, because you can't re-roll leadership tests. You can't re-roll battle shock tests. So you can't use the command re-roll. Yeah.
And command points are a crucial commodity.
Yeah.
And if you can reliably cause someone to fail a battle shock test, then they have to pick and choose their insane bravery, because they know I might use that stratagem and pass that this turn, but next turn that's gone, and these guys will do that. The thing is that you won't have the lasting effect because you're doing it on a full strength unit, so the next turn they're not taking a battle shock test unless your ability resets or whatever.
Yeah.
Which it may not.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, for the armies that need to that rely on that for their abilities and stuff like that, I mean, pump up the modifiers.
Yeah, or focus fire and try. I like that tactic of force them to do the insane bravery, and they can't use it again, knowing that they've got to do a battle shock test every turn if they're under half strength.
Yeah, but as I said, I mean, as a turn one, if you're playing, say, Drukhari, you come in and you hit a full strength unit.
Yeah.
You hit a full strength unit. They fail the instant battle shock test. They're not taking that test next turn. It's not like being at half strength. So you've kind of got to make that meaningful in some way, and that may not necessarily be that great. I mean, once you're into turn 3, making them take that battle shock test can be the difference between holding a point or getting other random stuff done.
True.
But I just don't see it being a thing in turn 1.
I don't feel that it should be a thing in turn 1. It should be a fulcrum that you use later in the game to break their hold or do something like that.
Yeah, and I mean it can work as that, but as it currently stands, I couldn't see you building deliberately to do it. You know what I mean? It'd be one
There's
of those.
Not enough incentive.
Oh, hey, this unit happens to do it that I happen to take for other reasons. Well, you know.
Well, I think that the Chaos Knights and Drukhari would focus on that because that is their main abilities to make people break tests. But the problem still is, it's still hard to fail a break test.
Yeah. and the only real remedy is to pump up those modifiers so that they can reliably do it.
All right, we have been yammering on for a while. Let's start wrapping it up. I think we've come to a decision that morale doesn't have as influence as we think it should. But if you tactically had a unit or an army that you focused fire to force them, it could be successful. The way you made it sound a lot better than we thought it was at the start, Mark, when you started going to full tactics side of things.
Yeah, I mean, it can be used to a reasonable effect, but as I said, I just can't see anybody who's min-maxing doing it, because there's probably better ways to achieve a similar result.
Yeah. It feels, as Adam said, Toothless Tiger, but it feels just like it's an add-on to the game, not a core mechanic of the game.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
It's a consolation prize for failing to wipe out a unit.
And I'll take it. Yeah. All right, folks. We'll wrap it up there. We gave some ideas on how to fix it. We love the fact that you should just run away if you've broken. And even if it's not in hand-to-hand combat, just run away when you've been shot to pieces. That works too. Forces you off an objective marker, or forces you away from a certain area. That's
Remember, you can just hit the bricks.
And then, as what Michael said, and then if you pass another unit, then they get broken as well.
I love that rule.
And then they pass another one, then they do broken. I reckon that'd be awesome.
Was that third?
Oh, it was around third ed. I remember I lost a game because 99% of my units fled off the table.
Yeah.
Like the fucking second turn.
Yeah, I was playing Orcs, and they're tough enough to keep on the board as it is because the animosity was in there. But yeah, and they just ran past each other. I said, "Oh my god!" It was beautiful. All right, we'll wrap it up, folks. Thank you very much for joining us, viewers, and giving your opinions. What you think of the morale rules? Sorry, Battle Shock rules. And I want to say congratulations again to the winners of the Best Painted. So Nathan and Anthony. I'm not going to congratulate myself. I'll do that off screen. It's okay. And of course, the wooden spoon winner. Can't forget him. And sports person.
No, he's gone to bed already.
Fine. Sports person award as well. Welcome Adam for that. All right, I think we're done. Unless you want to add some more stuff. No? Good. Social media. Great point. You could have watched us through YouTube this episode. We are now trying to do multi-streaming that way, so you've got multiple ways to find us. We'll always be there, behind you. And social media. If you want to follow Adam on Instagram, you can do that by going to...
Into 40k.
You can follow me, Red Belly Black. No OnlyFans, sorry, for C4 Darkmane. Not yet. We'll see what that happens this year. Depends if the new Slaanesh Army comes out. The other two don't have social media, fine, but they can tell us where you can find us on our Facebook.
RLG40K.
And what is their YouTube channel?
The same.
Yeah, the same. Don't look up the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Except the website that shall not be named.
We don't use that stuff. That's silly, silly talking. All right, Mark, say goodnight.
Good night.
Adam?
Good night, everyone.
And I'll say goodnight too, and leave it to Radio Mike to get us out of here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, be good to each other, and we'll talk soon.
Battle Shock, more like Battle Croc. Back in my day, if you shit your pants in combat, you either ran away or you got the pointy stick. These days, you're going to stand there, and maybe you'll still live long enough to join us next month for more wobbly player syndrome.